commented underneath that video, "We want to see Steph make 12 threes a game. Stop grabbing him, please."
Caitlin Clark has been posted online by Steph Curry's shooting coach. Steph had on her Nike trainers. There is now indication that she may be exercising with his personal shooting instructor. In the meantime, everyone is reading between the lines in Caitlin's recent statement on Steph's interview. These two are becoming closer, and the timing is intriguing for a number of reasons. A little inquiry before we dissect this. Does Caitlin Clark's training with Steph Curry's shooting coach during the offseason make her even more dangerous the following season? Or is this simply hype? This relationship is important, so please share your opinions here. Caitlin Clark has been rather active on social media lately, which is not out of the ordinary for her. However, she recently made a statement that attracted a lot of attention and has many wondering what's going on behind the scenes. Following a game in which the Hornets were face-guarding him as if their life depended on it, Steph Curry gave an interview. Caitlin also left a remark on the video. "We want to see Steph make 12 threes a game," she said. "Please don't grab him."
But Caitlin Clark commented underneath that video, "We want to see Steph make 12 threes a game. Stop grabbing him, please." And she never really, she would say when something was a foul or to, a complaint to that ilk. But Caitlin hasn't come out and said, what they're doing isn't basketball.
On the surface, that appears to be just a fan endorsing a different athlete. However, when you're Caitlin Clark and you make that particular comment about that particular issue, people take attention because one of the defining aspects of Caitlin's WNBA experience to far has been physical harassment on the perimeter and grabbing and holding. Since it's pertinent, let's discuss what Steph actually stated during that interview. He gave a flawless response when asked if it upsets him that the Hornets were protective of him. He claimed that while there is a part of him that detests it because it isn't genuine basketball, there is also a part that finds it admirable since it demonstrates how much attention he wants and how it gives teammates opportunities.
Does it bother you in any way being guarded the way they did in a regular season game?
There's a part of you that fights it just because it's not real basketball, but there's also a part of it that's flattering. Just knowing that you demand that much attention and also what it does to create shots for other guys on the floor. So, and I've seen it all, so I know if that's how they want to guard, how I can be effective, not let it take me out of the game, but also kind of use it to our advantage as a team. And then it's also funny at times just how egregious it is. There's one possession I gotta find it. I'm actually getting the footage. I actually stayed back in the backcourt a long time on purpose just to see how long Sion would stay with me. So that was a fun one.
Yeah, there's a clip of Colin Sexton covering you when you left the court.
Yeah, we both knew what we were doing there. We were having fun.
There's a lot of labor in the statement. It's not real basketball. Steph is subtly stating that it is not a valid basketball approach when defenses only use face guarding, grabbing, and holding rather than playing defense. It's physicality disguised as desperation. And Caitlin Clark is fully aware of how that feels, because she had to deal with it all the time during her first season in the WNBA. At the beginning of the season, she was blitzed more than any other player. The moment she passed half court, defenses would launch 2 or even 3 defenders at her. She was pushed, bumped, grabbed, and held on almost everything.
Caitlin Clark, and you get the attention that she does, you're going to get outsized defensive attention. In her rookie season, she was blitzed more to start that year than any team. A lot of that is strategy. They know what she can do. They know where she has the ball, all that stuff. But then there's part of it like trying to prove a point against her. And then, of course, when you want to rough up the other team's star, that's what coaches preach. If the refs are going to let you do it, you do it. It's something that became a point of contention across her WNBA career so far with Stephanie White, who probably deployed that strategy with the Connecticut Sun, saying that too much contact is allowed on the perimeter. And that's a thing across the WNBA, and it became a theme across the WNBA. But, Caitlin is allowed to be grabbed and held and all those things. Even to the point where I remember there was a broadcast where Rebecca Lobo pointed out, like, there's a foul, and there's a foul, and there's a foul. Like,
a portion of that is a valid defense tactic. You modify your coverage when facing the league's top shooter, but some of it went too far and resulted in contact that would be considered a foul in any other situation. The WNBA referees simply let it to occur. Even Stephanie White, who currently coaches Caitlin in Indiana but faced her in Connecticut the previous season, acknowledged that excessive contact is permitted on the perimeter throughout the league. In a broadcast, Rebecca Lobo pointed out many uncalled fouls on Caitlin in quick succession, acting as though she were Oprah giving away automobiles. It's a foul, a foul, a foul. However, Caitlin hasn't said anything about it in public. Although she has expressed dissatisfaction with certain plays, such as the Kennedy Carter shoulder check, which was clearly not a basketball move, she hasn't publicly stated that her defense isn't authentic. Unlike some other players and coaches, she hasn't turned it into a public campaign. Because she is not merely defending Steph, it feels important when she says, "Stop grabbing him," in response to Steph's interview. She doesn't explicitly make it about herself, but she is speaking for herself. It's a clever, tactful way for her to get her message across without coming across as whiny or demanding special treatment. To be honest, she is correct. Steph's 12 three-pointers a game are something that people do want to witness. For this reason, he has signature sneakers that people wait in queue to purchase and sells jerseys at Phil's Stadia. What sets him apart is his shooting. Everyone watching the game suffers when defenses just grab him to stop that. Caitlin follows the same reasoning. People want to watch her shoot from 30 feet, make difficult passes, and make step-back threes. She is unique because of this. Because of this, when she performed, attendance doubled. Her games received widespread TV coverage because of this. The product suffers when defenses simply mug her and the referees fail to call it. Strangely, the WNBA has turned extreme violence into a badge of honor. In some way, allowing more contact makes the league more real or harsh. However, that logic is backwards. Because they want their stars to shine, the NBA officially forbids that degree of grasping and holding. They are aware that viewers watch attacking brilliance rather than defensive mugging. Kelsey Plum has voiced her displeasure over this. This has been the subject of complaints from Becky Hammond. Natalie Nass has voiced her displeasure over this. Stephanie White has voiced her displeasure about this. The performance of perimeter players, particularly exceptional shooters, is impacted by this league-wide problem. However, it's intriguing that Caitlin hasn't spoken out about it in public yet. She has been tactful, most likely because she is aware that complaining about officiating can come seen as weak or as an excuse. However, making comments about Steph's predicament allows her to make the same argument without directly addressing her. Let's now discuss the additional relationships between Caitlin and Steph that have sparked rumors. Recently, Steph wore Caitlin's Nike trainers. Caitlin may be working out with Steph's personal shooting coach during the off-season, according to Context Cues and his shooting instructor's online posts about her. It's a huge development if that's the case, and the evidence is intriguing, but we don't have confirmation. The best shooter in basketball history collaborates with Steph Curry's shooting coach. Caitlin would greatly benefit from the strategies, exercises, and training methods that have kept Steph at a top level for more than 10 years. It also makes great sense. Caitlin is already the finest shooter in women's basketball, but she can become even more unstoppable if she can enhance her shot preparation, hone her mechanics, and incorporate new elements into her game based on what has worked for Steph. From a brand standpoint, their relationship also makes sense. Nike has made significant investments in each of them. Both of these small guards changed people's perceptions about shooting range. They both experience physical harassment and defensive attention. The synergy is clear. Steph has consistently backed women's basketball. He has talked about his daughter's participation in the WNBA and how he wants them to see role models. Caitlin is an example of a player who has the potential to motivate the upcoming generation. Steph encouraged children to begin shooting from the logo. Mutual respect is naturally generated by this alignment of values and playing style. However, there is a competitive aspect as well. Being good is not enough for Caitlin. She aspires to greatness. Her goal is to win titles. Additionally, she is astute enough to seize the chance if working with Steph's team during the off-season gives her an advantage. The timing of everything is also intriguing. Recently, Caitlin made another remark on social media that attracted notice. Indiana receiver Elijah Sarrett, who is competing in the College Football National Championship, disclosed that Caitlin Clark is the name of his dog. In response, CeCe and Caitlin said, "This year, both the player and the dog are welcome courtside. Not if there is a season this year. Just a friendly reminder that games are taking place." She is optimistic that the CBA talks will be successful and that the WNBA season is going according to schedule. She is the player's greatest leverage point, so she is likely correct. Because of what transpired during Caitlin's first season, WNBA players are in a position to bargain for significant salaries. Attendance skyrocketed. Records for viewership were broken. Sales of merchandise skyrocketed. After decades of ignoring the WNBA, corporate sponsors now wanted to get involved. All of that is a result of Caitlin's attention to the league. Therefore, her statement that there will be a season this year is significant. Because Caitlin would exercise greater caution while speaking if she believed there was a genuine possibility of no season. She may have information about the status of those negotiations that the general public is unaware of, as seen by her casual invitations to courtside games. Speaking at the USA basketball camp recently, Caitlin stated that if they aren't playing, none of the CBA stuff counts. She described it as the most significant event in WNBA history and stated that while players must stand up for their convictions, they must also make concessions on other matters. For someone in their second year, that is incredibly practical and mature. However, it also shows that Caitlin is aware of her situation. The player's leverage is fueled by her. Since she is the one generating the income that allows for higher compensation, her opinion should be heard throughout these talks. When it comes to officiating, the NBA and WNBA are very different. Players flopping and selling contact that doesn't exist are problems for the NBA. Legitimate contact is disregarded in the WNBA, which is the opposite.